After 3 days of playing with Sony's new Xperia 1 flagship, this definitely feels like an almost complete reboot of the Japanese giant's handsets, something that's quite heavily insinuated by that new naming scheme. The question is, where does the Xperia 1 lie on the reboot scale? Are we talking Ghostbusters, Robocop sort of territory, or is it more like the new Tom Holland Spider-Man franchise? Well, here's my 3-day Xperia 1 review for all you need to know, and please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech. Cheers! First up, even though it is a 6.5-inch behemoth, the Xperia 1 doesn't feel like a huge cumbersome slab of crap. This thing easily slips into a pocket, although the tip will be poking free if it's not quite deep enough, and the phone is surprisingly comfortable to grip thanks to that long and slender finish. You certainly can't accuse the Xperia 1 of being girthy, but despite retaining that iconic candy bar appearance, Sony has rounded off the edges and corners just like the XZ3, as into the comfort factor. I really like that weight balance as well. The new Xperia sits perfectly in your palm without feeling like it's about to tip over or overbalance anything like that. And at 178 grams, it is surprisingly one of the lighter flagships around. That stretched 21:9 design definitely feels like a step in the right direction, and not just for the media chops as well. Besides that, much of the look of the Xperia 1 is basically taken from recent flagships. Once again, you have a shiny glass surfacing, which seems hardy enough for a rough and tumble existence. No wonder, as both the front and the back are constructed from Gorilla Glass 6. And if the phone does get a bit mucky, that IP68 water and dust resistance means you can give it a good old soaking and get it sparkly clean again. Now, one particular design feature that I thought Sony Mobile had killed off for good is the edge-mounted fingerprint sensor, but here in 2019 it has made a glorious return. This scanner is actually disconnected from the power button, but you can just tap your finger or thumb against the scanner and you're straight into your desktops. However, just like the Xperia 10 and 10 Plus before it, I find that occasionally when I pull the Xperia 1 from my pocket, the fingerprint sensor has already locked itself from supposedly too many entry attempts, which I'm guessing is some kind of weird sensitivity issue. Now, Sony usually themes up the UI for its Xperia devices, but the Xperia 1 feels as close to stock Android as we've ever had before. You still get great features like the PS4 Remote Play, of course, and Sony has even added in its own gaming mode this time around to block notifications and even let you record your fragfest. Likewise, there's some one-handed help on there as well, which is particularly essential for pulling down the notifications tab. Sadly, you don't get any dedicated facial recognition like usual though, just that trusted face gump that's not really worth bothering with. Overall, I do really like this setup, although if the Xperia 1 asks me just one more frickin' time if I want to turn on the dynamic vibration system, I may hurl the thing at a bloody brick wall. Now, that stretched cinematic style display proves particularly handy if you want a split screen. I use this a lot of the time to watch videos up top while messing about in other apps, as you still have loads of screen space to play around with. But of course, the biggest advantage is that glorious notch-free full view finish that you get when watching a movie. You do get less customization over the display output now, sadly, with the likes of Super Vivid mode culled for the Xperia 1. But Sony's new creator mode does automatically kick in when you're viewing compatible content. This basically just adjusts the visuals so they're true to the final edit of the film, similar to the master mode found on Sony's TVs. Is this actually any better than the output from last year's glorious XZ3? Well, it is subtly different as far as the color range goes, but I wouldn't say it's an essential upgrade, to be honest. Still, that cinematic aspect ratio, the HDR support, and the super crisp resolution, which goes all the way up to Ultra HD levels, complete with the upscaling engine smarts, means that the Xperia 1 is an absolute movie bastard. The audio chops of this thing are fantastic as well. There is no headphone jack, unfortunately, but the Bluetooth support is sublime. Sony's LDAC pumps out crisp, full-bodied audio with full aptX HD support, and you even get control over the quality as well, so you can dial down the bitrate for a more reliable connection in packed-out areas like airports and train stations. And there's a tasty slice of Dolby Atmos action alongside the usual digital sound enhancement engine as well, which makes your old crappy tracks sound less crappy, really. And so, the Xperia 1 isn't just an absolute movie bastard, it's an absolute music bastard as well. And as you'd hopefully expect, the Xperia 1 is a proper smooth bugger too. That Snapdragon 855 platform is backed by 6 gigs of RAM, and that's plenty for a stutter-free everyday experience. And it's no real surprise that memory and data hogging games like PUBG Mobile run perfectly too. As for that gaming mode, unfortunately you do have to have the little icon on the display, but you can tuck it away in a corner or one of the sides where it's not going to be too intrusive, and it does add some really cool features which I'll be diving into fully in my full tips and tricks guide coming soon. One area that I so far haven't reliably been able to test out, unfortunately, is the Sony Xperia 1's battery life. Some of that 3-day stint did involve a trip abroad where unfortunately my SIM card did not work, but I can't tell you that the Xperia 1 I've been hammering it non-stop with lots of YouTube streaming, Spotify streaming, and of course course plenty of camera play as well, and I've always had plenty of juice remaining when it's time to be tucked up with Teddy at night. Sadly, there's no support for wireless charging from the 3330 mAh battery, something that was found on the previous Sony flagship. But it is good to see a return for the battery care feature, which helps to prevent long-term battery damage. This seems to work well on older Xperias, so hopefully should do the job here too. And of course, one of the other big changes compared with previous Sony Xperia flagships is that triple lens arrangement here on the back. This fresh new camera mimics the tri-lens setup of other recent flagships such as the Huawei P30 Pro and the Galaxy S10 Plus. You get an ultra-wide angle and a telephoto shooter which you can swap to at any time to change up your viewpoint and capture very different results. You also get a whole bunch of other smart features, including some rather terrifyingly good eye tracking software and the all-new Cinema Pro mode, which basically allows you to punt around capturing gorgeous artistic looking footage like your bloody Werner Herzog or something. I've already fully reviewed the Xperia 1's camera and of course tested out all of those bonus features such as the Cinema Pro mode, so go check out my in-depth camera deep dive right now for all you need to know. And so my early verdict is that the Xperia 1 definitely seems to be another winner. It's not cheap by any means, and there is strong competition out there from the likes of the OnePlus 7 Pro and Huawei's P30 Pro. But so far, I'm really liking that stretch out design, the strong media performance, and the return of unique Sony features like remote play. So are you tempted by Sony's Xperia 1, or perhaps you were one of those lucky punters who pre-ordered it and you've actually already got your mitts on it as well? Definitely be great to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. And for more on the latest and greatest mobile tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers!